Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. My name is Steve Boshier, and I will be your game master for this evening. If you are not familiar with this channel, we run two different streams here. On Friday nights, we have an ongoing campaign in Worlds Without Number. Hello, Kirill in the chat. That was on hiatus last week, but we'll be back this week with episode 8. And then on Monday nights like tonight, we do all sorts of different one-shots, two-shots, occasional revisits of a rotating selection of games with a rotating cast of characters, players. Generally looks something like tonight, with these fine folks who are my most frequent players here. But last week we did Dwindle, thank you. Before that, Death in Space. Next week is something that I'm running. Sorry, I just got back from vacation, guys. It's Star Trek tonight. That's what's important. Next week is Tales from the Loop, which I'll be running. And so if you like the show, come join us in the Discord, please. And I'm putting a link to that in the Twitch chat right now. If you happen to not be watching on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, you can find the link to the Discord down below. But hey, you guys all know what Star Trek is, so I don't need to over-explain this. And by the design on the screen, you can probably guess what time period of Star Trek we are in. So let's go ahead and introduce our crew. It's you. We go
Hello,
clockwise.
I am Lieutenant Commander Kalia Venn. I am a joined Trill. I currently specialize in the sciences and am serving as our ship's science officer.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm playing Lieutenant Meredith, can you give me that again? Because I don't remember how to pronounce my name.
Chaaje?
Lieutenant Chaaje.
Chaaje Anafis.
Yeah.
I'm a Bajoran comms officer who grew up amongst Andorians. And yeah, there you go. Boom.
Okay. I am Lieutenant Ettore Avami. I am an Andorian, and I am my department is the engineering department, but I specialize in bridge systems. And I was recently reassigned to this ship. Yes. Here we are.
Vami. Is it Vami or Vomi? Sorry.
Vami.
Vami is our only returning character from our last Star Trek game about 2 years ago. But first of all, no antenna tonight?
They've been misplaced somewhere in this massive mess that I live in.
All right.
It happens.
Minor hoarder here. I need help.
And second of all, I'd like to point out that the color of your frame down there was not any sort of racial remark. I just thought that one of them needed to be blue.
Well, shouldn't both of them be blue?
Because of your affinity for Andorian culture? No,
because they're both science type.
I'm science. She's engineering.
I see.
She should be orange. Kalia should be blue, and I should be red.
I did not take department colors into account when designing the LCARS layout for the video call. Nonetheless, you're technically correct. Okay, so none of you opted to play the captain tonight, which means I am your captain, Captain Anton Raimondo, the Federation Starship Rhapsody. This is an Intrepid-class ship, sister ship to the sadly lost Voyager, which we have not heard from for some time, believed destroyed. And here we go. This is, the credits just played, so now we... Captain's log, stardate 54868.6. We have received a distress call from Rikyu, an independent Saurian colony beyond the Federation border. Planetary Governor Tarumshe is requesting assistance with a natural disaster endangering the planet's cities, although she was vague on the specifics of the threat. The Saurians are famously self-reliant, so it could be that the governor was embarrassed to ask for help, but I got the impression that she didn't think we'd believe her if she told us more. Nonetheless, the governor made it quite clear that the lives of over 8 million colonists are at stake, so we are obliged to respond. If the Saurians are such a strong, adaptable people that it's hard to imagine what could be too much for them to handle. All right. Would anyone like to have any sort of interaction prior to arrival at Rikyu?
Absolutely. I would say since we recently had a new officer transferred to our ship, at some point on the journey, I would make my way to Lieutenant Vami's quarters to introduce myself.
Yes, hello. Thank you for coming to my quarters. I appreciate getting to know the crew.
Yes, anytime that there's a new senior officer brought on board, I like to come and introduce myself. And I've heard that you're a whiz at engineering. So I thought I'd come and say hi. I'm Ven. Nice to meet you.
Ah, yes. I see that you are a Trill. Is this correct?
Indeed, I am.
Ah, very interesting. I've only encountered one Trill before.
Indeed.
On
Well,
Deep
I hope
Space
they were
Nine,
good Oh, indeed. You probably met Dax. She's a wonderful representative of our species.
Oh, what do you think
Well,
of this mission that we're on? I've not had much interacting with the Saurians in the past.
They're definitely a very capable people. They tend to make good officers, highly intelligent. I must say I'm looking forward to this trip in particular because I'm a fan of Saurian brandy, and I bet I can get a case cheaper on planet than I can elsewhere.
Is this something that Captain Ramondo would approve of?
I don't imagine he'd disapprove as long as I'm using my own funds. I wouldn't drink it on duty, of course, but I have several friends that would enjoy getting a bottle.
I may have to partake of this substance myself.
Absolutely. I'll track you down when I find some.
Thank you. Good evening.
Have a nice night.
Well, I imagine that Lieutenant OJ is on the bridge, since you are, in fact, the ship's
pilot.
con officer. Yes, pilot.
Yes.
Helmsman.
There we go.
Helmsman.
That's the correct term.
I believe they are all technically true. So you bring the ship in to orbit around Rikyu. That's Rikyu for those keeping track at home. This is an in-class planet, which means people can live on it, and Star Trek speak for like Earth. In close orbit around a small Type K red dwarf star. The relatively dim light from the small star is tolerable for the Saurians' large, sensitive eyes. The planet was settled some 40 years ago and already has 6 major cities on it. So various smaller habitations surround the cities on the largest landmass, and the Saurians, well, I said they've been here 40 years. So as you arrive, Captain Ramondo is sitting in his big chair, looking at whatever is on the tiny screen on the arm of the chair. Report, Lieutenant. Are we in orbit?
Correct, sir. We're in geosynchronous orbit with the planets.
Any sign of a natural disaster or anything that might explain why we were called here?
I mean, obviously, having checked my sensors when we came in, when we approached, I would know that the answer is yes or no.
You would not have any sign yet. What it would be required would be a more intensive scan of the planet. This may be a task for the science officer.
Absolutely. Let me scan the surface.
Well, nothing came up on my initial scans, but you might want to talk to Science Division for that.
Initiating scans now. Let's see, that would be, I'm guessing, reason and science?
Reason and science. It could, well, we don't really have a security person here. And you will be assisted by the ship's sensors and science.
Excellent.
So this is going to,
means...
since you don't know what you're looking for, this task is going to be a difficulty of 2.
Okay. So I have a 12 in reason and a 5 in science, so that means I'm rolling under a 17 with 2d20. And then because of my talent that I have technical expertise, I can reroll one of these because I'm using the ship sensors.
Okay.
I have 1 success. I'm going to reroll the other. I have 2 successes.
All right. Seismic scans reveal strange, highly localized seismic disturbances at various points on the planet. They're not very intense the way you would expect an earthquake to be, but they're pinpoint focused and apparently moving. In fact, one such pinpoint is moving straight towards Kochi, which is one of the major cities. 2 of the other cities and smaller habitations, mining camps, power plants, and the like, show significant damage already.
Captain, I'm showing several localized moving seismic activity. It seems to be heading for one of the large cities. There's a lot of damage here. Something is definitely disturbing the planet seismically.
As you continue to scan, higher resolution scans on the outskirts of Kochi reveal the cause to be something extraordinary. This is a gigantic creature, more than 60 meters long. 3-eyed head, arms ending in pincers, and the back end of its body is snake-like. It's rampaging through the outskirts of the city and tearing into the smaller buildings in the area with its teeth, or crushing them under its weight as it slithers through. It's like some kind of old monster movie. Life readings show the area has been evacuated, but the creature is heading towards the more heavily populated center of the city, which still has too many Saurians to evacuate in time. There are ground troops engaged in combat, but none of their weapons are having any effect on the creature's rock-like hide.
Question. Would my focus in xenobiology allow me to gain an additional momentum from having the fact that one of my die rolled under my science score?
I'm going to say no, because your initial scan was to find the seismic disturbances, not to find the creatures. Once you had found the seismic disturbances, it was easy to find the creatures. At this time, there is a hail. None of you is the communications officer, so someone else puts it on screen. There is a Saurian there who identifies herself as Governor Tarumshe. She's the person who sent the distress call. She's a typical-looking Saurian with a bald head, egg-shaped, smooth pinkish skin, and bulbous yellow eyes, which give her a perpetually surprised expression. She pleads with the captain to fire on the creature, to which he replies, "I'm sorry, Governor, but Starfleet Directive 010 requires exhausting all peaceful options before engaging an alien species in battle." And she starts to object. He puts her on mute and asks for suggestions from the crew.
I could do further scans of the creatures to see if there is any way that I could determine if they are in any way agitated or seeking something, if there's a way for us to communicate with them or potentially lure them in a direction.
That's good. Try that. Any other suggestions?
If it responds to sound in some way, like an ultrasonic pulse, we could convert the dish to emit such a pulse and draw it away, if that is the case.
It's good thinking, Lieutenant Vomi, but we don't know if these creatures respond to sound at all. That will be something that Lieutenant Commander Venn will have to let us know. Any other ideas? You, pilot kid.
Not that young. Probably in my late 20s.
Well, I'm 57, so...
Yeah, sure. No. I mean, if you want to try and do like a strafe, like if you want to try and barnstorm it. Otherwise,
like scoop it up?
No, I mean more just like fly by it.
Fly by.
Just like zoom over it really low to try and get its attention, and then maybe it'll follow us.
That's an outside the box idea, Lieutenant. I like it. Okay, so hold on. Hellman navigation reference. There's so many references. This system, by the way, is so complicated that it has like 8 different reference sheets. Just the cheat sheets that it comes with. There's 8 of them.
Steve,
yeah.
If you feel that way, I will get you a copy of their Infinity RPG.
Oh no, I'm not making the claim that this is the most complicated game we have played on this channel in any way.
No, like, in terms of their 2D20 house system, everything I've read, their Infinity game is. I've tried to wrap my head around it a few times because I own it. Yeah, and it's a lot.
Yeah, let's not put it on the rotation.
Yeah, we'll look into that. We'll look into that later and definitely put it on the rotation. Yeah, so I'm sorry, Lieutenant Commander Venn. What was the research you wanted to do on its? Try and scan it biologically and see what it is susceptible to.
Indeed. See if there's a way to either communicate with it, or if it's obviously seeking a need or trying to stop something that's disturbing it in some way. If it's, sensitive to the city lights, or if it's seeking food, or anything that a biological scan might shed light on.
Okay. Yeah, give me a scan. Let's see what I should tell you to roll for it. I have your sheet over here. That's probably going to be reason and I guess medicine, yeah?
Yeah, probably.
Or science.
So that's a 16 I'm looking to roll under for that. And this would be where my xenobiology means if I roll under a 4, it counts as a double success.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I'm rolling with the ship's computers, so I get to re-roll 1 die.
Okay.
I have a 3 and a 15, and rolled that for 14. Haha, 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, so I didn't set a difficulty for this, but I would set the difficulty at 2 because
so I have an extra.
Yeah, you're still in space. So with extra successes, we get one of these. Momentum.
Yay.
This, I don't think this is one of the stock ways in which you can spend momentum. But first, let me tell you what you learn with just your scans, and then I will offer something to you. So your scans reveal that the creature's entire external structure is made of stone. However, the stone's chemical composition is not native to this planet.
Fascinating.
These creatures do not seem to be native to Rikyu. So that's one thing you know. In terms of their behavior, they seem territorial. This creature is agitated by the mere presence of of the Saurians, or so it seems. You don't have enough information to say for sure, but it doesn't seem to be following any sensory stimuli that you can determine, other than there are things, let's kill them. So there's that. Now, if you want, you can spend that point of momentum to gain a extra bit of information by cross-referencing what you've learned about these creatures with the ship's library computer.
Yes, I'd like to do that.
Okay, so for the benefit of our viewers, I have told our players that they can use the Star Trek Wiki Memory Alpha as the ship's computer for the purposes of tonight's game. So in the library computer, you will search up rock beasts. And you can report to the captain what you find.
Is that one word or two?
2 words, rock beasts.
There it is.
And did we spend that momentum?
Oh yeah, let me take that down.
Well, Captain, it appears that these creatures are a non-intelligent life form native to an M-class planet near Motherlode. Are we dealing with a 4-legged or 2-legged type based on my scans?
The one that you are looking at has 2 limbs, and then the back of its body is snake-like.
Ah, excellent. Yes. They have a tendency to assume an upright posture. They're large. Oh, goodness.
So you're telling me that these are not native to the planet here?
No, indeed. The planet definitely can support their life, but someone brought these in. These were transported to the area, and seeing as they're territorial, they definitely were put in after the cities. Otherwise, the cities would never have been constructed.
Yes, the Saurians have been here 40 years. We only got the distress call just now.
Can I scan the atmosphere above the planet, see if there are any ships cloaked or any sort of disturbances that would indicate cloaked ships?
We'll blow past that. There's none. I don't want to waste game time on a red herring, but I will say that at this time, if any of you have any further suggestions for how to save the Saurian city before this creature destroys it.
Captain,
Yes,
what
Lieutenant.
if we beamed these creatures up, kept them in the transporter pattern buffer, and then we could take them wherever wherever they're supposed to be, and just transport them back there.
Engineering, is that possible? These creatures are huge.
Yeah, I don't know if the buffer could contain something of such size or mass.
Vomi, I think that you would know that that's correct. The buffer cannot contain it. However, you would also know that the transporter probably could grab it and maybe hold it for a moment or two.
So we could potentially relocate the beast farther from the city by time, at the very least.
We could do a site-to-site transport, yes. I was going to suggest converting the deflector emitter to create a hologram if possible. It would take a little bit of effort, but...
Distracted.
Maybe I could create a distraction, a duplicate of it, so to speak, on the outskirts of the city and draw it away. Was another option.
Okay, so we had Lieutenant Chioj suggested beaming it, and Lieutenant Vomi suggested a holographic decoy. I am going to roll to see what the captain orders you to do. Odd is Chioj, and even is Vomi. Okay, let's try that transporter.
Yes, terrible plan it is.
Terrible plan it is. So, Vomi, this is going to be an engineering plus structure task. Structure being a ship thing.
So I am using my attribute control and engineering combined.
Yeah.
So that's a 15. Okay.
This is going to have a difficulty of 3.
Oh.
So that means that you should spend at least 1 threat to add a die to your pool so that you have the possibility of getting 3 successes more easily without having to roll under your discipline.
Yeah, I think that'll be the case.
Okay.
As indicated by Lieutenant Commander Vin.
Well, thanks for the
I
threat,
will
guys.
reroute power to the transporter systems to ensure that we don't blow any energy conduits between here and there.
Oh, rerouting power is my favorite.
All right. Let's see. So I need to roll under 14. So that's 2 successes with a 9 and a 7.
Okay.
The third dice is an 18.
Do you also have technical expertise as a talent?
As a talent, I have, yes, technical expertise.
You can re-roll that 18 because you're using the ship's computers, right?
Excellent. Well, that didn't help. Dropped to 15.
It's worth a shot.
2 successes. You attempt to pick this creature up with the ship's transporter. It's huge. It's as though someone were trying to beam up several, I don't know, humpback whales and all the water surrounding them.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. You manage to disorient the creature for a moment, but the transporter beam fails, and it is further enraged against the saurians around it.
Captain, I have a suggestion. Perhaps we could combine our remaining plans together and do a flyby of the creature to get its attention and turn it from the city towards a holographic display that we then put forward of a creature of its type displaying territorially in some fashion.
Do you think that you know enough about these creatures to program the hologram to behave in a territorial manner that its own kind would interpret the way we wish?
I believe by what we've seen currently of its behavior towards the city, I can mimic that behavior, and it should have the defined result that we're looking for.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to call for. The creating the hologram in the first place is going to be something Vomi's going to have to do. And then programming it to behave correctly is going to be a Ven task. So let's see what are the best attributes for you to use. I think reason or control for Vomi, and then for a discipline, engineering or science would work. And then for Ven, definitely reason and science.
Marvelous.
All right. So,
and do I get to use my xenobiology focus?
Yes. And each of these is going to be difficulty 1.
Okay. So control and engineering was 15, so I'll roll under that as possible here. That is a 15 on the dice and a 6.
Great. So you have successfully slapped together a hologram of a rock monster. And
I have rolled a 15, which is under the 17 I need, and I'm using the ship's computers still, correct?
yes.
Excellent. I'm going to re-roll the nat 20 so I don't have that complication. It's a 2, which counts as 2 successes. I add 2 momentum to our pool on top of my success.
All right.
Oh, the advanced holographic projection algorithm I put together has created a focused energy lattice capable of bending and reflecting the light to create this. I don't know if I've heard of anyone else doing this in Starfleet before.
No, I believe we're breaking new ground. It's very exciting.
Outstanding. Best crew in the fleet. So, yeah, you make a giant rock monster. Now, it doesn't have the resolution that would be required to fool a human being, but it's enough to make this creature believe that there is another one of its kind nearby, and it does charge away from the city. You guys have bought some time for the Saurians. The city of Koshi is saved. Well done.
Whew.
Yes,
That was
I'll drink to
close.
that.
So now that we have time, should we reach back out to Governor Tarumshe to find out if they have had any recent visitors that might have had a ship capable of transporting creatures of this size? I mean, if we can't beam it up easily, neither would anyone else.
Well, in the meantime, Captain Ramondo does order the engineering team to find a way to upgrade the ship's transporters or perhaps the tractor beams to make them more effective against these creatures. So that is something that we can either have the NPC engineers do, or you can be involved in that if you want, Vomi. Anyway. And then Lieutenant OJ, he orders you to take the ship down.
Yeah, I do that. How do I do that?
You just take it down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do that.
I think an uncomplicated landing does not require a roll. Sorry, I've lost track of who all these NPCs are for a second. So the local scientists meet you along with the governor. Let's see. So his name is Kamanahe. Kamanahe? Kamanahe. He says, "Hello. Welcome to Rikyu. Thank you for helping to drive the creature away."
Greetings, Dr. Kama. Write it down.
Kamanahe.
Kamanahai?
Sure.
Sorry. I'm glad we arrived in time. That was close.
Yes, the creatures have been agitated for several weeks. It's quite confusing. We don't have any record of them before. It's been decades that our people have settled on this planet.
Indeed, according to our records, in fact, these are natives of another planet that is not in this system. They were absolutely brought here recently. Would you by any chance have any records of the flight patterns through the system so that we could check for ships capable of transporting them?
Well, there have been very few ships coming and going. The only people who could have brought them here would have been one of us, and I do not believe that to be the case. I believe that these creatures must be native to the void. If they reproduce through some sort of panspermia in space, perhaps their eggs simply landed here. Between attacks, we have not been able to find them. They somehow managed to conceal themselves in the mountains, so we've been unable to hunt them down. They do have impenetrable skin, and they're, for some reason, drawn to our cities. We suspect it may be because that is where there is a concentration of life and refined metals. They have been seen to consume buildings upon destroying them. But as I mentioned, there's no evidence of any such life forms on Rikyu for the 40 years that we've been here until just a few weeks ago. So it isn't clear how they could have come here, but they're definitely not native.
The buildings that they've eaten, are there any similarities between industries that have been targeted, or were there potentially specific components that they're targeting in the building flavor?
We did suspect that at first, but we have come up with no no common denominator that ties those buildings together that would not also be present in nearby buildings that were left alone. We know that they eat dense metals. Beyond that, I can tell you nothing of their motivation. Yeah, so Dr. Kamanahai is sort of the oldest one here. She's got the greenish brown skin. And then there is also General Zotabia, who's the leader of the Planetary Defense Force. He's kind of purplish and stocky. And he agrees with your initial assumption that someone brought these creatures here somehow. Most likely when they were young enough to be small and transportable. If they use eggs or whatever the equivalent to an egg is in their species, that is his opinion. But you have already found records of the creature's planet of origin. So you know at least that the idea that they spawn in the void is questionable, but not disproven.
No, and in fact, I'd like to give the Saurian scientist access to the record that I have on the rock beasts to cross-reference with any information that they've gathered to see if it helps shed any light.
Dr. Kamanahai will go over your findings. And something that you found in your library computer was that originally these beasts were not defeated, but distracted by a drug that was in the possession of Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock and Harry Mudd at the time that they were found. This is an event from the animated series, by the way. The episode is Mudd's Passion. No, Harry Mudd had been...
I feel better not getting it.
Yeah, well, watch the animated series. Get up to date.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. I mean, it's the same cast
Spock
and writers as the original series.
And it's got Spock too.
And it's got Spock.
Nice.
It's got
Two.
Spock. Oh, yes, Spock 2. Yes, of course.
The sequel to Spock.
Who, in a way, also appears in Lower Decks.
Yes.
So, Harry Mudd had been selling these crystals as love potions. And they actually did work on a temporary basis before having the opposite effect and making people hate each other.
Oh, dear.
But, so, what they did to distract these creatures was Kirk walked out and used some on one of the creatures. They work on tactile contact. So this creature then began to defend Captain Kirk from the other creature. So Kamanahai notes that it seems anomalous that such a large creature with such impervious skin could be affected by a quantity of any drug that would fit in the captain's hand. Mr. Spock's original report presumed that the crystals were merely storage capsules for the drug, but Kamanahai wonders if they could have been some natural formation indigenous to the rock beast's homeworld, previously discovered by an unreported alien expedition and brought here, and brought from there to wherever Mudd obtained it. So that would be a coincidence, but not impossible. Since the rock beast planet was near Motherlode, which is Arcadia 3, Motherlode being a nickname, the planet where the rock beast was found was Arcadia 6. So, since they're near each other, it's a regular destination, and people sometimes go off the trade routes if they're somewhat disreputable. So, could happen. Could be that these drugs that Kirk used on the thing were native to the rock beast homeworld. So that's Kamanahai's deductions. They kind of tenuous, maybe.
Do Do we have records in the system of the chemical composition of the drug that was used or the crystal that potentially was carrying it? Is it something we could replicate?
The replicators. Bring on the replicator.
Let's see. Actually, that is what the Governor Tarumshe requests at this point. Is your help replicating or finding a chemical that would have the same effect. But you actually don't have detailed records of what was in those crystals, because by the time Kirk and Spock and Mudd got back to the ship, all the crystals had been used. The one Kirk used on this creature was the last. So, the second to last being the one that Nurse Chapel used on Spock, but we're not going to talk about that.
Shame on her.
I don't think that made it into the report.
I don't know that I could blame her, but
well, that's fine.
still.
How far away is this place? Maybe we can retrieve additional crystals.
So let's go to the map. You all know the Alpha Quadrant, right? There he is.
Totally.
So, the places in question are not marked on this map, but there's Earth. And, holy cow. What's going on here? These are backgrounds,
Earth's
there's
gone.
name tags, there's stuff happening. What happened to the map of the Alpha Quadrant? I saw it. There it is. Anyway. So, you can see everything in blue is Federation space. The green is the Romulan Empire. You guys are right around here. So, Arcadia is over here. Not too far from Rikyou. What you got going on
Have we
there?
bought enough time with the relocation of the beast in order for us to be able to make it there and back with enough time to do a brief away mission to try and gather local crystals?
Lieutenant Commander Venn says, Captain Raimondo, you do not have a record of the chemical composition of these crystals. I don't think it would be reasonable to assume that we could get over to the Arcadia system, scan for crystals, figure out which crystals are the ones we're looking for, and get back before any more Saurians are endangered by these creatures. It's, for all we know, another attack is happening at a city right now. We need a solution that doesn't require us to leave the system.
Potentially, some was brought with them. Could we do a scan of the mountains? Can we contact the ship and have them scan the area that the creatures have been retreating to see if there's any non-local materials in any concentration, now that we have a smaller area to scan deeper?
I'm sorry, you want to scan for if any of the crystals are already here?
Or any chemicals that aren't native to the planet, if something was brought along with them to try and control them, if their handler maybe has a den for them there or something.
That is not a bad idea.
We could take a shuttlecraft to get a closer look and a more accurate scan of the area.
Lieutenant Joje, since the ship is currently on the ground and our security officer is sick, I'd like you to follow up on an idea that Vin had earlier. Please work with the officials here on Rikyou to go through their records of ships coming in and out of the system. See if you can find a ship that may have been the transport vessel for these creatures.
Yes, I can definitely do that.
I think the words you're looking for are yes, sir, or aye, sir.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good, Lieutenant.
Also, I'd just like to point out, I dropped a PDF in the Discord that has the USS Rhapsody done up not as a Galaxy class ship, but as an Intrepid class ship.
Isn't that what Meredith already put there?
No.
Did I use the wrong stats?
You use the stats that were right next to the Intrepid title at the start of the Intrepid class.
So the stats that I put up first that were next to the living ship was the right stats.
Yes.
So I did it twice for no reason. Whoops.
And I just got really happy because I finally found where the starship talents are.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you, Jason.
I've been looking for those for like a couple minutes now.
All right. Well, that's good. Now we know what ship we're flying.
Ooh, yeah. Well, just because like there's stuff like the Intrepid has advanced sensor suites.
Yeah.
So whenever a character performs a task assisted by the ship's sensors, they may reduce the difficulty of the task by 1 to a minimum of 0.
Lovely.
All right.
Which, I mean, we totally you both totally rocked it.
Yeah. But you could have rocked it even harder.
Yes.
All right. So then what I'd like you to do is run some analyses of Kamanahai's theory about the panspermia. See if that holds any water. Then that's going to be a reason plus science task with a difficulty of 1.
Acknowledged, Captain. I have 2 successes, one of the natural one.
Okay. If you have no talents,
So that makes it 3 successes.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. And if you have talents that apply to it, then it's 2 successes anyway. Oops, that's not how you do that. There's your 2 momentum.
I do have a spatial phenomenon focus. But it's a natural 1, so it's
I mean you get 2 either way, but yeah. So Kamanahai is correct that the rock beast composition is in fact robust enough to permit their eggs to survive being blasted into space by asteroid impacts or something. However, there have been multiple different species of rock beasts that have emerged on Rikyu in the past week or weeks. So, what your simulations find then is that the probability of so many different species eggs all traveling panspermically from their native planet to Rikyu is effectively 0. It can't.
Astronomical.
There's no way. Even if the eggs from all the species had been clustered together and blasted into space, they would have dispersed by the impact that blasted them into space. So there's no way more than 1 egg could have intersected Rikyu's orbit, which confirms the general's theory, which is that someone brought them here, and that was your initial assumption as well. That still seems to be the only thing that makes sense. Which suggests, as you previously mentioned, that if someone brought them here intentionally, someone has the means to control them. So if that could be found, that could hold the key to halting the attacks. Oh my God, Jason is drinking from space.
Yes, I'm at the end of a bottle of Klingon blush wine.
Blush wine.
It's a lighter, fruitier variant on Klingon blood wine.
Fantastic. Anton Raimondo is a big fan of Klingon blush wine. He pretends it's blood wine to impress the Klingons. Now, Lieutenant OJ,
I'm going to talk to some dino people or something.
Do that research about the ships. This will be an insight plus security task with a difficulty of 1. You are looking for any ships that may have brought them here.
Okay. Awesome. I'm really good at this. Would my starship recognition focus help me out in this case?
Starship recognition. Yeah.
Well, it almost helped me out.
Okay.
But I got one success.
Great. So, what you find is that a cargo freighter registered to a trader named Calexian has made multiple trips between Rikyu and Motherlode, or at least the Motherlode sector, over the past 2 years. His cargo was reported as bulk mineral ores and geological samples. There are irregularities suggesting he may have bribed the cargo inspectors to look the other way. An investigation of Calexian's activity on the Planetary Data Network revealed, basically looking at his Google history, reveals a number of political posts expressing sympathy with Destroy All Cities, a radical environmentalist group objecting to the colonization of Rikyu and what it perceives as the despoiling of its ecosystem. Destroy All Cities is an offshoot of a radical Saurian sect called the Untainted, which believed that Saurians should rely only on their natural abilities instead of technology, and that civilization should not be allowed to disrupt a planet's natural ecology. While Destroy All Cities has not renounced all technology, yes, that's the name of the organization. It's translated from Saurian, where it's actually pronounced. It does advocate abandoning interstellar colonization and returning to Sauria to live in harmony with the homeworld. So he's an eco-terrorist, essentially, or at least a sympathizer with eco-terrorism.
Oh, these poor deluded people. And if you're going to destroy all of anything, you're supposed to destroy all monsters.
Well, that's what humanoids usually think.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you get someone on the wrong side.
I mean, according to my fucking security digging, is Colexi still on planet?
That's a great question. No, he is not. So what you are going to have to do is try and figure out what he used. So, guys, it is about 9:30, which is pretty early. We've got a bit for the second half to do, so I'd like to suggest that we take our break now, and when we come back, you guys can try and solve a monster problem.
Yay, monster problems.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for playing. Thank you, whoever's watching. We'll be back in 10 minutes for the Act 2, The War of the Gargantuas. Welcome back. Tales from the Backlog and Hard Rock Catastrophe in Star Trek Adventures. Hey man, you keep making that face.
It's a little bit of groan, but it's also a lot of respect for those puns.
Here we are on the planet Rikyuu. Before the break, we discovered a few things. One, Telexian, the cargo freighter captain, Kilexian, was found to be a sympathizer with Destroy All Cities, a Saurian extremist group that believes Saurians should never have left Sauria. And as part of an eco-terrorist plot, probably brought these creatures here on his freighter. So, that tells you a couple of things. One, that you probably need to find this guy, and in order to find the Destroy All Cities movement. And two, the reason you want to find them is because they have a means to control these creatures. They were able to get them here. So, the captain at this point is going to... You guys are back on the ship at this time, but the captain is sort of brought you all into a staff meeting off to the, the one with the conference table that's near the bridge, which makes you wonder why they didn't just talk on the bridge. There you go. He says, well, since my entire senior staff is sick with the flu, I'm talking to you three. You've proven good officers so far. And also, I have trouble making decisions on my own. I probably shouldn't.
No worries, sir. We have your back.
I probably shouldn't have said that in front of my subordinates.
Which is why we're in this room instead of out on the main bridge.
Absolutely.
It's understandable, Captain. Sometimes the seat for the captain is a heavy burden.
Dr. Kamanahai has informed me that they have sent up an aerial laboratory in order to study these creatures in an attempt to try and find a chemical means to control them. Thanks to you, Vin, we now know that they can be controlled with the aid of chemical compounds. One of them apparently was induced to defend Captain Kirk. They're going to see what else they can come up with. I would like you, Vin, to assist them with that. And Vomi and Choje, we need to find out where this Kilexian guy is.
Well, yeah, I assume as part of my research down on the planet, I would be able to get some access to Colexium's light data.
Yes.
And where they said they were going.
Yeah, so what you found previously was that he'd already left Rikyuu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had been heading back to the Arcadia sector, which is where Motherlode is. However, you have been contacted by the general, whose name I cannot pronounce. I said it before. Where did I put it?
General Zotabiya
Zebediah.
was what I wrote down.
Zebediah.
Beta.
I should have just said Zebediah. But he has contacted you, and he has now informed the captain that though the flight plan that was filed did show that Calexia was leaving the system, no records of the ship warping out exist, and so there may be some sort of trickery going on here.
Well, do they have any record of Colexium's ship's warp signature that we could try to use our fancy sensor array, our advanced sensor suites to track?
Yeah, the warp trail should have, it's a residue in subspace distortion that's left behind. So
Yes.
if we could pick up on his scent, then yeah, we may be able to follow him.
Yeah, you don't have an exact record of his specific ship, but you know the type and class of freighter that it is. So it shouldn't be too hard to find a trail if it has left one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily us, but like them.
Well,
the Saurians have a record of it.
Yeah, they have a record of it. Yeah. They don't have a record of his individual ship because they've never had a reason to track him before. But yeah.
Okay.
But they know what kind of ship it is. It's registered and everything. So, Vomi, I would like you to roll for that. And what is the appropriate thing for you to roll? It's going to be, we'll call it reason, and you can apply, I would say you can apply security to this, or if OJ, if you want to roll it, you could also apply con to it to scan for the residue of this ship.
Reason and security, that's 11 for me, so.
No, science, I would also accept science instead of security.
So 13.
You say I could use reason and con?
Yes.
And do I get so on the ship sheet, there's this departments thing with +1s and stuff?
Yep.
Do I get that bonus?
Yeah. If you're using the ship to do it, which you would be, yes.
Yeah, so that's going to apply, that's going to add to, so I've got a 5 con, a 7 reason, so that's going to be a 12 with a 13 from the ship?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, if I can use my technical expertise, I can re-roll one of my 2 fails.
Yes, you can use your technical expertise.
And
all right, so I got 1 success.
Momentum to get another die?
You want to spend momentum, you said?
1 momentum to get an extra die.
No problem.
I've got 1 success then on my roll. Then.
Okay, 1 success from Vomi.
Okay, more questions. The if I have a focus such as, recognizing starships,
Yeah.
it would mean I would crit on equal to or less than my con.
I think that is correct.
Okay, cool. Then that's 3 successes.
Heck yeah.
Hey.
And you each needed a total of 1. Vomi, with your roll, you determined that no, he did not warp out of here because there is no record of a warp signature matching his freighter anywhere in the system. However, you do find an impulse engine trail. It looks like what he did was do a lap around the star and come back. He came back under cover of some asteroids and a moon, basically snuck up on the planet and went right back where he came from. Anaphis, I'm sorry, we're on a last name basis over here.
Oh.
Lieutenant Joj, you're able to follow his trail and figure out how he did, the hiding part of it. And before long, you find his ship. It is grounded in a valley far from any city, but not terribly far from where a hovering aerial city is above it. And in consultation with the Saurians, you learn that, in fact, this is New Aclero. The names are awesome on this planet. New Aclero is a hanging city. It's built near a cliff where it is shaded, and it has inverted towers connected and supported by extensive buttresses and skywalk bridges. And it's where Calexian, his place of residence, is listed.
Oh.
Well, that's a very odd choice for an eco-terrorist that's not a fan of technology to live.
Well, isn't it, though? And now, Vin, are you working with
knock on this guy's door?
Yeah, they're gearing up to do that, and the captain is going to order you guys to go with them. But before we get into that scene, we're going to check in with Vin and the doctor, Kamanahai, in the aerial laboratory. So what's going on here is you have shared the knowledge that you have and all the records from Spock's analysis at the time. Kamanahai is now in the laboratory, clearly just overwhelmingly fascinated by these rock beasts. It's getting a little creepy, actually, how much she talks about how beautiful they are and how astounding their biology is. It's creepy's maybe a strong word, but it is. Scientists do not usually get quite this in love with their subjects.
Especially when their subject is threatening all life on the planet.
Yeah, these things are currently a threat to her existence and the existence of everyone that she knows here. So there's that. They have all kinds of scientific equipment here for measuring air samples, chemical samples. What do you think would be a good first move in terms of studying them and trying to determine how to control them chemically?
I would say that I would take the information that we have about their home planet and start taking various segments of the chemical composition of some of the local crystalline structures and releasing it at different points near some of the creatures to see if it affects them at all and in what way. Because there had been some mention by Kamanahai that they wanted to maybe see if they could get other effects besides just the defensive effect. So to see if we can get any response at all from anything from their native planet to see if any stimulus works.
Yeah, so you have no information about specifics of what was in the original chemical, but you do have
but the planet itself.
Yeah, you do have some what's the word I'm looking for? Some speculation from Mr. Spock that is perhaps helpful. What he has pointed out in his records, which, he only did a report on the specific incident and did not continue studying this type of creature, but he pointed out that this love potion crystal that Harry Mudd had was capable of affecting both humanoids and these rock creatures. And therefore, whatever type of chemical you're looking for, that probably narrows it down quite a bit.
It does. So we could cross-reference the chemical compositions that are known to be on that planet with known intoxicants and aphroditic properties that are known to affect humanoids and specifically Vulcans, because we know Spock was affected.
Yeah.
And see if that narrows it down any.
Indeed. And of course, Spock is half human. But
half
you
human,
also
so
know that there were humans affected back on Motherlode. That's
the effect of selling it as the drug.
In fact, Kirk himself was affected. One thing that Harry Mudd was saying when he was marketing it was that between man and woman it induces loves, but between man and man it creates friendship. And Kirk and Spock actually were exposed to it together and became. They were already friends, but it got a little weird. So, yeah, that's a thing that happened. So we know humans and at least half Vulcans are affected, as well as these rock creatures. So there's chemical evidence there. Kamanahai,
on that note, I would also like to potentially try some sort of soporific that works on humans to see if maybe we can put the creatures to sleep.
Oh, interesting. Okay. In order to try and synthesize anything, Kamanahai is suggesting that you're going to need a a physical sample of these creatures.
That would help.
Yeah. So I will give you a choice here, Lieutenant Commander Venn. You can try and collect this sample yourself, or you can send a team of Saurians down to do so.
Ooh, I think I will send the team of Saurians. I'm not really a very physical person, and chasing a monster doesn't seem like something I will successfully.
They're all
I'm
wearing
not a very
red
daring character.
Okay, let's get
Saurians in red shirts. That sounds fun.
Saurians and Rich.
Ooh. Hopefully they have at least 1 or 2 gold shirts among them so that we get the sample back.
Well, we're in the TNG era here, so red is command.
Oh, good. Red shirts are okay.
The gold ones are the doomed ones. Let's see. So this is going to be difficulty 2. I'm going to have them roll with the doctor's stats. They rolled very well. They got 2 successes, and there is a complication range of 3, but they are safe from that. They do come back with a physical sample. And
Always good to trust the local professionals.
the local professionals. I mean, one of them died, but what are you going to do? That's a joke. They didn't die. Let's see.
Saurian humor sometimes doesn't translate right at
No,
first.
it doesn't translate. I mean, it's all clicks anyway. Even their laughing is clicks. So, I would like you, Vin, to roll a check to see if you can make that chemical. Let's see what you think would be appropriate. Obviously, reason and science.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And then let's see, because is this something that I could use my xenobiology or logical thinking focuses towards?
You could use xenobiology for sure.
Excellent. So looking to get under 17 or a 5. And I've got an 11 and a 4. 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, well this...
Villains over there.
Yeah, the rolls. Come
Logic.
on. I'm going to put one of those into your momentum pool. What? Come on, dude. Because you only needed 2. So, you are able to create a chemical that you think will have an effect. Please roll me 1d6.
1. Oh, maybe it has an effect.
After testing it on some local plant, some local animal life, you believe you have successfully created at least a variation of Mud's original love potion.
Well, that's something.
So, using this, you could, if you use it in a way similar to how Captain Kirk used it, you could perhaps get these creatures to start defending the Saurians.
For a very brief time.
For a very brief time. Although we don't know if it wore off on the rock beasts in the same way that it did on the humanoids, because the crew of the Enterprise hightailed it as soon as the rock beasts were distracted.
And if we're synthesizing things, we could potentially make a more potent version that might have a longer half-life.
Absolutely. You could try that. But we're going to move on from then now over to Lieutenant Chioje and Lieutenant Vomi, where you are accompanying General Zotabia. What was it you put down? Zebediah?
Zeb. General Zeb.
It's Zot. General Zot.
Oh,
There you go.
Zatabia? Tabby. To raid the residence of Calexian, the freighter captain. Let's see. It's, it's like I said, it's a hanging city.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky for you guys. The Saurians have no trouble with it. They are a climbing race. So he's in one of the hanging towers, and he actually spots you guys before you're ready and starts firing. So we are going to say you've got Zotabia with you and 3 of his guys. I'm sorry, Jason, were you talking? I think you might have been muted.
Oh, no, I was talking to someone else.
I see.
Now you can see.
Lieutenant Morris.
Oh, it's my Yasmari.
All right, we're going to have to enter combat because this man is shooting at you. Let's see, where did the combat sheet go? I have so many reference sheets open, but I forgot to open the combat one. Because there's so many. Let's see. Tabletop games, startup adventures, conflict is what they call it. All right. You know what I would use help with if one of you happens to know how initiative works, because oddly enough, that's not on the conflict sheet.
Yes. It goes back and forth between the player characters and the NPCs unless you pay to keep initiative, which can only be done once before the enemy then gets to go.
Okay. So starting with players then. Vomi and Choje, you each get on your turn a minor action and 1 task. There is a thing called determination. The only way to get a point of determination is to challenge one of your values.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's necessarily something that's going to come up all the time.
I mean, I'm actually looking. I'm trying to parse these rules right now.
Yeah.
To try and challenge one of my values, or let that value challenge me.
Yeah.
Well, because I have 2 values here that could apply. I have no stranger to violence.
Okay.
But I also have talking things out before they come to blows.
Okay, so he's already opened fire, but if you want to try talking to him, then that is, I would say that counts as a value challenging you.
I mean, I'm trying to parse really quickly how to do this, and it's just sliding off my brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to drop prone as my minor
Copy that.
action.
And then for your tasks, you can attack, assist, create an advantage, which is difficulty 2. I'm sorry. Difficulty 2 is to remove a complication. You can... Well, you're not a commanding officer, so you can't direct. You can guard someone. You obviously have the list, right?
Yeah, I just pulled it up on page 173 and 172. Yeah, that.
Great. So you've dropped prone, which is one of the listed minor actions. Are you going to do anything else?
I would like to fire back, or more of a warning shot.
Okay. If you're firing a warning shot, I won't require a roll. You can just do that.
Yeah, just kind of like, and allow Anaphis to do his bit.
All right. Well, I should maybe put on some more combat-y music.
Like, stand down. Come out and fight me as an honorable individual. My proud and honorable, my honor dueling aspect.
You could try and honor my honor.
Yeah. Vomi, do you think that you appreciate Shohei's appreciation of Andorian culture, or does it grate on you?
In the back of my mind, I think of him as being pardon the term, a poser, someone who
he's got
appropriated my culture.
He's a bit of a weeb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not like some outsider who picked it up because he thought it was cool. He was actually raised in it.
One of us was raised in Andorian culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I wasn't specifically, since I spent a lot of time on Earth and in various. Yeah. So maybe, he appropriates my culture, and it frustrates me because I know that he's probably more versed in it than I am.
That's funny. Okay.
So if this is helpful in determination, player characters begin each session with a single point of determination, so you do have one available.
Yeah. But you can't spend it unless you're challenging a value.
Right. Or using it.
Yeah. So, Chojay, do you want to attempt something?
Yeah, I want to attempt to communicate with these guys. Like, hey, cease fire. Like, we can talk this out. But, better, because my character would actually know what to say.
Copy that. So Calexian says, "Who is that? Starfleet?"
Yes, I'm Lieutenant Chojay of the Starship Rhapsody.
That's
I wish to communicate and parlay.
Okay. Let's see. What? There's nothing to communicate about. You've come here with military.
Starfleet is not a military.
General Zatabia is.
General Zatabia, stand your men down, please. We can talk this out.
Well, there are more lizards than men, but okay.
Well, I mean, if they were like dinosaur people, they'd be more birds than men.
You've got 2 minutes. And in the meantime, he's signaling his people to get surrounding him.
I mean, we don't have to come to blows here. I may not be the best speaker, but an office is better than I am. But whatever problems you have with the Riklu government, we can work this out without coming to blows and without killing each other.
What is your score in presence?
10.
How about command?
4.
I think that's what you need to roll.
So I'm going to grab a piece of that momentum.
Got it, boss. Now, hold on. I want to point this out before you roll. It very specifically says in the book, you don't have to claim your momentum point until after you know if you need it. So you can roll first. You can roll first, and if you fail, then you can take the momentum.
Well, I wanted the momentum for an extra die.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm saying you can check to see if you need the extra die after.
Well, I know I need the extra die because I want to make more momentum.
Okay. Well, here you go.
Spending momentum to make momentum. It makes perfect sense.
No, this is what I learned from Conan. Spend momentum to make momentum. Wow.
You make any momentum?
Maybe.
It's difficulty 1. The guy's already surrounded. It's not terribly hard to talk him out of shooting.
Well, so I got an 18, a 9, and a 3.
And
so
what is?
I'm looking at my focuses, trying to figure out if like team dynamics or cultural studies are something I could bullshit my way to getting a crit for that 3.
I would say if you think honestly that Chojay has studied Saurian culture, then yes.
I think he has genuinely studied a lot of cultures.
Okay.
I think he might be the kind of idiot that like looks for all the cool things from other cultures that he can try and like, oh, that's cool. I want to be like that. That's cool. I want to be like that.
All right. Well, then you can apply that. Call that a crit.
Okay, so that's 3 successes.
All right, and 2 of them are extra. For Pete's sake.
And what's more, that crit was on my momentum die.
Spending
Nice.
momentum to earn momentum.
Yes.
Yep, you guys do have 1 point more than you did before OJ's turn. So there you go.
Yep.
Calexian will surrender, and you see. Gosh, what would be the equivalent of like a perception check here? No, insight. I'm gonna have Vomi and Shoji both. I'm gonna have you roll an insight.
Security?
Yeah, that's fine.
You said insight and security?
Yeah.
Okay, so 12. That is 1 success.
Okay,
I'm spending momentum for another die.
you got it.
Oh shit. So that's 5 successes.
Okay.
Good lord.
10 and 2 1s.
Okay, Vomi, the 1 success is not enough. The 5 is enough with 3 extra.
I would say, I'll spend a momentum now.
Yes, my garbagey dice are finally getting good.
Yeah, they're good for
Just have to
rolling
pick the
under.
right system.
Oh, you know what? I might be mistaken. I believe there's something in the book about not being able to have more than 6 momentum at a time.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, check that
Quite
out.
possible.
If that is the case, then I'll let you immediately spend the other 2 on more information here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I was not expecting to roll that.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That was.
So, at a base level, what you notice is that General Zotabia is very agitated that Calexia has surrendered. He,
I think General.
when he gave you the 2 minutes.
Is in on it.
What's that?
I think he's in on it.
Yeah, when he gave you the 2 minutes to talk, he was having his men surround, and he was planning to attack anyway. And now that Calexia has surrendered, he doesn't look happy. It's hard to tell with a Saurian, but you can tell.
I can't remember what fucking page number that was. I can't remember what momentum.
Momentum, yeah. So saving momentum.
78.
Yeah, the pool cannot contain more than 6 points. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's just
for sure.
got there.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Sorry.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, so you're
Lots of new information.
Oopsie. No
You
worries.
can read this general like a book.
so what you will yeah. So Choje, you suggested this guy's in on it. Yep. You now have GM confirmation because of all the extra momentum that your guess was correct.
Ooh, Calexi's a patsy.
He's 100%. Well, Calexia is
I mean,
not.
he might be a believer, but he's being set up for the fall by General what's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, the general was fully on board with my theory
And then
from
we
step
think,
1.
oh, cool, this is all over. But General what's his name's going to be like, ha ha ha, I can keep doing what I want and making things bad and not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the last thing I'll give you for all that extra momentum is the knowledge that it needs to be Starfleet that takes this guy into custody, or he's not going to make it.
Well, you know, I see that General what's his name seems to be like moving in a little too eagerly. and I grab Vomi and I say, "Hey, we gotta get these guys out of here onto the Rhapsody. I think that this guy's up to something." And I rush over to Colexium as they're surrendering, boot my comm badge, and go, transporter to, like, how many of us are there?
Yourself, Colexion, and Vomi. There's 3. And
Is that it?
If you want to take the other Saurians, then there's 6. I'm sorry, 7.
So there were 5 other in Colexium's group?
No, Colexium is by himself. General Zetobia had 3 guys with him. So...
And if you don't take the general, he will be killed in custody of the Saurians by one side or the other.
I think we're getting names mixed up. Colexium is the guy who's in danger because he's the freighter captain.
Yeah.
General Zetobia...
No, I was just...
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave. If Colexium had any compatriots that are here, I didn't want to leave them at the mercy of General General
Zotabia. Not Zotabia. Colexium does not have anyone with him right now.
Okay, then I boot my comm badge and I go, transporter room, 3 to beam up, and I grab Colexium to be the 3rd person to beam up.
You guys beam up, and Vomi, you get to the transporter. It takes a second, like it takes longer than it should for the transport to start. And when you get to the transporter room, you see the chief of transporter operations, who has been off duty due to illness, like a huge amount of the crew. But because you weren't here to operate the transporter, Vomi, he's just sort of slumped halfway over it, like, sorry, I had to run here.
We're not making enough NPCs.
Oh.
Well, I do appreciate it.
No, it's good.
Was making some NPCs.
This flu, man. Anyway, he wanders off. But yeah, you guys are back, and
I'm going to immediately turn to Colexium. The general was in on it, weren't they? You were being set up. You were going to take the fall for them.
Well,
as I realize, I'm almost asking them, you were going to take the fall for them?
No, I wasn't going to take the fall for anybody. I saw Zetobia down there, and I knew he was coming to kill me, so I opened fire. Thank you for getting me out of there.
Well, you're not out of it yet, because you helped unleash those beasts on all those other Saurians that are just trying to live their lives, just do whatever.
No,
so,
you're not
out of the thick of things yet.
All I did was
transport. I don't want you to
people.
Die just because someone else thought that they could hush you up.
All I did was transport some people. I didn't unleash anything.
You helped transport those giant rock monsters. I'm sorry, rock beasts. This is Star Trek. Let's be technical.
Yeah, beasts, yeah.
You helped bring them to...
Well, I'm a freighter captain. They were cargo. As some people hired me, I took them. Who
hired you?
Well, I mean, some people.
No, who? You need to I'm trying to think. Should I be leading him to the brig? Should I be leading him to the captain?
The captain has come in and says, Lieutenant Choji, take this Saurian to the brig.
So as we're walking to the brig, I'm trying to communicate, get information out of him about, who commissioned him to bring these things here, because, he's Colexium, do you want to be the sole burden, like the sole focus of whoever's going to get in trouble for this?
Oh, excuse me. So he does eventually reveal to you the location of the DAC compound on Rikyu. So you can raid that place now that you have this information. However, before you're able to take any such action, you get a call from the governor. And she reports that a herd of 6 quadrupedal rock beasts are gathered and making their way toward one of the other major cities named Akato. It's bigger than the first city, and it seems as though this attack has been launched deliberately. Now that you know what you know, 6 at once has not happened before in this entire ordeal.
Okay, I have a vague question. Like, how big are these things?
The one that you guys saw before was 60 meters.
I can't picture that.
Okay, 60 meters is about 60 yards. You were
Is it like Baragon sized? Is it like Destroya sized?
You were in marching band. You know what 50 yards is. Add 10 to it.
No, like, I can't picture it in relation to like a city. So I'm trying to like picture kaiju.
Picture like 2 houses long, probably.
Yeah, a story like on a building. A story is about 10 feet. So if these are 60 meters, then that's like 18 stories ish. If my math isn't fucked, it's tall. It's not quite Godzilla sized, but it's bigger than King Kong.
They're a little shorter than half Hanna-Barbera Godzilla.
Yeah. Like Gamera. Think Gamera, the flying turtle monster.
Yeah, Godzilla's had a lot of different sizes, but they're
but Hanna-Barbera was specifically 30 stories tall.
Okay. Well, then they are not
They're
quite
half
that
a
big.
Barbera.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a better idea how big these things are now. Thank you.
Yeah, they are skyscraper sized, but not the tallest skyscrapers that exist.
Okay.
So, when you get down there, General Zatabia has not returned to the capital. Instead, there is another military person who has stepped in to take command. This is Major Tarumiak. And she lays out a map showing 3 defense stages that her people are preparing to establish. So the farthest away from Akato, at the downstream end of a river valley, there's a force field barrier. So this barrier is not strong enough to stop all 6 beasts, but if it's completed in time, it could delay them. And then next, there is... At the narrowest part of the valley, the beasts have to traverse a wide cliff alongside the river, about 30 meters above it. So a demolition crew is going to plant high explosives to undermine that cliff and cause an avalanche above it, hopefully dumping the rock beasts into the river. So that's stage 2. And then the final stage of the defense plan is between the end of the pass and the city itself. One of the 2 converging tributaries that form the main river has been dammed to provide power to the city. If the previous attempts do not stop the beasts, then the major is going to be forced to blow the dam in effort to wash them away with the unleashed waters. But this, of course, will be a devastating blow to the local agriculture. So. The Starship, you guys are being asked to help with these defense plans or offer something else. Yeah.
I have another idea.
Hit me.
Well, an office is going to turn like Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah. Then.
No,
yeah.
Ben is a lieutenant commander, right?
Correct.
I'm on the orbital science station at the moment. Are you calling me, or have I come back to the ship?
Okay, you're not
You
there.
can be
Beep
back
boop.
on the ship now if you want.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, knowing that
Well,
we
no.
have a traitor in our midst, do I think the scientist was one too?
I'm not going to answer that yet. Let's hear what. Let's hear what.
Lieutenant
Annapolis
Commander
says.
Ben, you've been working on some sort of love potion that could turn these beasts to our own side, right?
Indeed. I've worked on a bioneural variant stabilizer, and I'm pretty sure that I've got a successful one. And I have a
You've
backup
got
plan in
enough
case that doesn't work.
replicated for all 6 of these things.
I think we probably could make it in time. If we don't currently, we have enough replicators. We could probably work on some volume.
What if we took a shuttle and just crop dusted these things with it?
And then they would love the shuttle, and you could potentially use it sort of mother duck to get them to go another direction.
I kind of
Once
want
it loves the shuttle, what do we do then? We could start with my second plan, which was the soporific, and try and just put them to sleep. But then when they wake up, we still have to deal with them.
But that'll give us time to deal with them, and in that time we can set up some sort of plan so that your
Love potion?
compound will make them loyal to the Saurians and not the city-destroying Saurians.
That'll give us time to work on extending the effects as well.
Yes.
While
Do you
you're
think you
doing
could handle
that,
flying that close to giant monsters?
I am so into flying that close to giant monsters. You do not even know.
You have yourselves a shuttlecraft, Lieutenant.
while you're doing that, I will try and upgrade their shield emitter to slow the creatures if necessary.
Great.
Give them more time to set up their demolition charges, just in case.
Is this just going to be a basic shuttlecraft or like a runabout?
This is a basic shuttlecraft.
Okay. I got those stats.
All right. Vomi, go ahead and give me a control plus engineering with a difficulty of 3. Try and get those shields upgraded.
I'm sorry, you said control and what? I apologize.
Control and engineering.
All right, and then plus my technical expertise just in case.
Yeah, and I'm going to warn you, there are 3 towers that you will have to upgrade, so you're going to have to make this roll 3 times.
All right.
Bomi, look at all that momentum we've built up for you.
We're at max.
You've got 3 successes on the first one?
I got 3 successes on the first one.
Great. You have succeeded in upgrading one of the towers. And that's going to add a momentum, but your momentum pool is full, so we can just roll it over into the next challenge. Go ahead and roll that
Bonus
second one.
dice.
Yeah.
That good.
Yep, that's 1 success. One of these dice dropped a nat 20.
Ooh.
Well, we have
It's a complicated one.
You
the
can,
technical expertise, right? You can
you
re-roll
can
it.
re-roll that, right?
Okay. Well, that's a 16, so it's still not a success, but it's not a...
But you are able to spend this momentum. Like I said earlier, you don't have to do it until after you roll.
I'll have to spend 2.
You'll have to spend 2
That's
minimum.
fine. That's what we got it for.
Yeah.
Spend it.
I did it again. I rolled another 20. One of my dice have to behave like
Yeah, I would
playing
hand
something
here.
else.
Well, I'm
So
trying
that's
to
1
hand
success.
I hand you my dice through the camera.
I'll take those.
Okay. Well, the complication is that tower is not going to be functioning. It's functioning partially, but it will never. You've discovered damage to it that's going to prevent it from being fully functional in the time remaining. So go ahead and roll for the 3rd tower.
All right, there's my successes. Okay.
How many?
Three.
You got 3.
Hey.
Great. Okay, so you've got 2 of 3 towers operational. You are going to slow down but not stop these creatures. So then the second line of defense, the Saurians are rushing back to blow up this cliff. But in the meantime, Lieutenant Shioje and Lieutenant Commander Ven are racing through the air in a shuttlecraft full of drugs.
Yeah.
Woo!
Whoosh.
Give me a piloting check there, Choje. Let's see how we do those. I believe it's going to be...
Wait, where's my thing? I still want this over here.
Control and con? Or perhaps daring and con. I think daring.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm flying I definitely fly in a daring manner.
Yep.
I mean, one of the reasons I fly in a daring manner is because one of my focuses is hot rodding.
Do it.
Yeah, and I'm spending one of those momentum. I want as many successes as I can get for this.
Okay, you are going to need 2 to whip past these things without getting hit, because there's 6.
Give me some sugar, baby.
What was that Wesley Crusher episode? I forget what they did. There's some sort of like maneuver in a, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know the episode.
Forget the obstacle course for their training, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Red Squad. The first duty. I forget the name of the move though.
Well, I wish one of my die had rolled 1 lower, because that's only going to give me 3 successes.
3 successes. So that's 1 extra. You got back your momentum. You didn't get any extra momentum. So you successfully weave your way through all 6 of these rock beasts, just whipping around their heads and arms. And then, now I need you to drug them.
Excellent.
You know, just being difficult, Steve.
Yeah.
Was that contest? Was that a difficulty 2 due to environmental conditions?
No, it was due to I mean, if you want to call the monster's presence environmental conditions.
Well, I mean, I'm specifically asking because I have the talent Push the Limits.
Okay.
Which, when I attempt a contest that has increased in difficulty due to environmental conditions or damage to the engines, reduce the difficulty by 1 to a minimum of 1.
No, I wouldn't count it as that.
Okay.
All right. All right, so Ven, we need you to drug these creatures. It's definitely going to be science. I don't think I'll allow medicine on this. They're just too different. But science will work, and reason. Or control.
Science and reason.
You could choose control as your attribute.
I'd rather do reason, but I can do control if you'd like.
No, I think reason makes more sense, honestly.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is still xenobiology because I'm drugging these alien creatures.
Yep. And yeah, this is your first test of your new compound on the actual rock beasts. So.
And I'm testing the soporific. We're putting them to sleep at the moment to buy time, right?
Oh no, you never made a soporific. You only
okay,
made,
no, this is the love potion then. We are going to try and
yeah.
fly casual once we've finished this so they follow us. Excellent.
Yeah,
the bump casual. Kind of make that soft maneuver side
Am I
to
using the
side.
ship's computers? Do I get to have my reroll ability?
Nope.
Does the shuttle count?
No.
The shuttle does not count. Okay, so in that case, I only have 2 successes with my nat 1. Oh, actually, wait. The other die is a 17, which is my target number, and it beats it, isn't it? I have 4 successes.
Yeah. And that's 3 successes. Well, one of them's extra. Have your momentum. You watch these creatures absorb this weird potion that you've made that you think is the love potion that Harry Mudd had. Or at least a reasonable facsimile of it.
First attempt at
And
it.
they stop. They are dazed momentarily, and then you watch as 6 enormous heads turn and look towards the shuttlecraft where it is flying away. And they all begin to follow.
Nice.
Now, Lieutenant Shoji, you get a message on comms.
What is it?
It's the captain.
Yeah. What's up, sir?
Lieutenant, the beasts are following you. You have to stay where they can see you. If you get out of their range, they'll turn back to the city. Lead them away.
Oh man, this sounds like I have to fly in a controlled fashion, and I can't just do my normal daring do.
You must fly in a controlled fashion, Lieutenant.
Yeah, no,
Cool, son.
sir. Is there anywhere specifically I should lead them to?
Well, south. Lead them south.
I can do that, sir.
As far as you can.
I'm gonna just start going south and keep going.
Just a little tacking path, that kind of like slow zigzag.
There you go. Yeah.
So give me a check to stay where these creatures can see you, but not get caught by them.
Okay, give me a hot sec.
It's only going to be difficulty 1.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but I've been rolling real good tonight.
And this would just be the time, wouldn't it?
Yes, this would be exactly the time for that to just completely poop itself.
Oh, we've built lots of momentum.
Yeah, I know. I want to spend some of it.
Okay, let's
I just want to see how much I can spend.
Plus, Lieutenant, my shuttle rides with you are always the most exciting shuttle rides I have. I mean, the loops alone are unique.
I do fly pretty exciting.
He gets court-martialed every time he returns from a trip.
Yeah, with the inertial dampeners and artificial gravity.
85. Why didn't the index just tell me to go to 85?
Like you hear the thundering thump of rocks colliding with each other. They swarm and squirm over each other to try and get at you.
There's no limit on the amount of momentum you can spend in a turn if that's what you're looking at.
No, I was looking that up, but I was also looking up how much it would cost to get more than one die.
It's 1 for the first, 2 for the second, 3 for the third.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to spend 3 of that momentum for 2 extra dice.
You got it.
And I'm assuming this is going to be control and con.
Yes.
All right. Because this is just, I'm not flying how I like to fly, so I'm like hitting those crits is going to be a little more difficult. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
All right. You've got 4 successes. I told you this was difficulty 1.
Hold on. Yes, 4 successes.
And at this time,
You fly like a slow, sexy rock.
I will now spend a point of threat for the first time in this game.
Dun, dun, dun.
Actually, I'm going to make this 2 points because what's happening now is 6 more rock creatures are coming up from the south ahead of you.
Oh.
And you are out of the drug.
True.
You are not far enough away from the city yet.
But
Okay.
I've got a pack of 6 rock beasts
Yeah.
that are all about going to town for me.
Quite possibly. So if you fly close enough to the upcoming pack that they are perceived as a threat to us, theoretically.
Exactly. Doctor, that is exactly what I'm thinking.
It will be fascinating to see whether or not my chemical compound works as expected.
Girl, strap in.
Click.
So for this one, you will spend daring plus con, and you will need 3 successes to get close enough to these guys to trigger your pack to attack without getting yourself damaged in the process.
Okay.
Is this something that I could potentially assist the role with using my own con skill and insight to try and help in some way predict where they're going to lunge at?
Let me.
If not, I can just sit here and be flown around.
I think probably not, but I'm gonna just check the teamwork section real quick. You know what? Forget game mechanics. It doesn't make sense to me in the moment that you'd be able to do that.
That's fine.
Yeah, because he's the one flying the ship. You can't be like, look out.
Oh no, I fully believe that.
I'm backseat driving.
Commander Ben, you're going, look out for that, and I'm going, no, I got it. Don't worry about
I had
it.
control the inside of the ship.
No, as I'm
trying to hit that
literally
imaginary
flying,
impulse.
like under a foot that's coming straight down at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm spending three momentum. I want more dice for this.
Great.
Five successes.
5 successes. This is crazy how your dice have been tonight. After the last several games.
Not really, because I'm basically banking on them rolling exactly how they've been rolling the last several games.
Yeah, all the roll over games, you just, poor Jason.
Yeah, I've been doing garbage, but the roll under.
Well, so this music, which actually you guys can't hear, this is the music of a rock beast fight. There is a free-for-all between, it's a 6-on-6 rock beast battle. There's debris falling everywhere. The noise is deafening even through the hull of the shuttlecraft. But Lieutenant Choje, you are able to just zip in and out and around arms and legs and torsos and falling boulders that maybe were once part of a creature and maybe were once just sitting on top of it. It's just incredible. By the time you get back to the Rhapsody, you've already won several medals. This is insane.
Are those medals to go along with my court martials?
Yeah, you've also been court-martialed in absentia.
Matched sets.
You're gonna review your flight data later and just be like, what?
You know how Star Trek 4 ends with Admiral Kirk being demoted to captain and then given command of a starship because they know that's what he wanted all the time anyway? Because he broke every law but then saved the Earth. Like, that's you.
Yeah, it's the best stat.
Yeah, that's you, but on a smaller scale. Microcosm. Yes. So, yeah. You survive. The shuttlecraft takes not a scratch. And we will go ahead at this point and wrap up, actually, because you have saved the city. We're a little early here. But you've saved the city, and you've determined a way to make these rock beasts loyal to objects. They were loyal to the shuttlecraft.
Object permanence.
Yes. So, Lieutenant Commander Vin, along with the doctor from Rikyu, you are able to recreate the medicine that you made in bulk. And the governor orders the fitting of huge cannons on top of all the perimeter buildings of every city on Rikyu. So anytime a rock beast approaches a city, they will now be blasted with love potion.
The cities of rock monster love.
Yes, the Destroy All Cities headquarters is raided and its members are captured. What the Saurians do with them is not the Federation's business. But you guys have successfully saved Rikyu from eco-terrorist threats and from the long-lasting repercussions of Harry Mudd's existence.
Indeed. I update the record with the guest chemical compound composition, just in case this comes up again.
Absolutely. Yes, you do. Also, you are now each given the opportunity to name one of the rock beasts.
Oh.
Frank.
Frank the rock beast.
Yes.
Zeppelin.
Frank Zeppelin. And Vomi, what you got for me?
I'm just going to lean on Terragor.
Terragor. Frank Zeppelin and Terragor. Well done. You are all you all received commendations in your service records for aptly filling in for the entire command staff of the Rhapsody and saving Rikyu. Captain Anton Ramondo is later discovered to be addicted to chemical substances.
Oh no. You should go get help for that.
Temporarily stripped of command while he recovers.
Too many days on Ryza, right?
Yeah, yeah. He should have been more helpful tonight. Well done, gang. Sorry I was a little scatterbrained tonight.
It's okay.
Like I said,
no, it was great. It was great.
I genuinely wasn't sure what I was doing for a while there.
Yeah. I like this game. I like this game a lot, but I think we need to play it more often so we remember how it works.
I'm strangely all right with that.
Yeah, let's get some more. Let's get some more rotations in with a lot of these games, actually, not just this one. But yeah, thanks.
Especially because if we play enough, we'll level up the command structure. Eventually, one of us will make captain.
Yeah,
I'm trying to. I'm looking right now, trying to figure out is there a level up mechanic in this?
Yeah, there is. I think it's called advanced training. No.
After each time that we complete a mission, depending on certain things that happened, we get points, and when you get enough of them, every 7 points, you can actually increase yourself. Otherwise, mostly it's moving a point from one place to another.
Where is that?
Let's discuss that off stream. For right now, I'll just sign off. We are ending 40 minutes early, but what can I say? There's only so many rock beasts you can lead away.
Yeah, because we
rocked it.
Rock. Come on, guys. Come on.
Exactly.
We couldn't have done bolder.
We were definitely bold.
Yeah.
We were between a rock and a hard place.
Okay. They just keep coming. Everyone go watch the Strange New Worlds musical episode. And we'll see you guys next week for Tales from the Loop. And on Friday for more of Shadows of Arconia Campaign 2.
Is there Shadows of Arconia this Friday?
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay. I know there wasn't last Friday or something.
That's because I was on vacation, which is the same reason that I barely understood the game.
I didn't put that together at all.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Sometimes if it's someone else on vacation, we just do a stream anyway, but I'm the one with all the passwords and the equipment. So when I'm gone, there is no stream. Anyway, thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.